Distracted driving is a big issue these days. You see it all the time. When I'm driving down the highway in my ambulance, I drive past people that are texting, I drive past people that are shaving, I drive past people that are reading the newspaper. And those people are very prone to cause accidents. I'm not saying that every single time you distracted drive, you're going to cause an accident. I think we all do it. I think we all look at our phone when it buzzes. I think that, you're driving down the highway, you're expecting a phone call or expecting a text from your boyfriend or from your wife or from whoever, and that phone buzzes and you look at it. It can only take a second.
I think it's also important to say that distracted driving isn't just cell phones. Distracted driving is your friends being rowdy in the back seat and you being distracted by that. Distracted driving is combing your hair. Distracted driving is putting your makeup on. Distracted driving is adjusting your radio and looking down and spending your time down here instead of up here focused on the road. Distracted driving is trying to showboat for your friends who are walking on the sidewalk beside you. Distracted driving is anything that takes your attention away from the road, because things happen on the road really quickly, and when they happen, if you're not able to react to them, bad things can happen very, very fast.
So unfortunately, motor vehicle trauma is a big part of what we do. Patients that are seen through the emergency department, as well as who end up in the operating room, things like excessive speed, distracted driving, driving under the influence, and those can all result in very significant traumas, significant injuries, and I think we need to take every possible opportunity to dissuade people from engaging in those risky behaviors once they're behind the wheel. We can define trauma by high energy and low energy. So if somebody's just falls off the monkey bars, that's a low energy injury, and for a surgeon like me, low energy generally means that person's going to be fine, their outcome will be fine. But high energy is where it starts to get a little bit scary. That's where there's more potential for trauma, and so it's definitely more of a serious situation.
And I think that is important to note, is that role modeling piece, because parents who are texting and driving, parents who are displaying this distracted driving behavior, whatever that is, they're modeling that to their kids. That's a huge impact on those kids. It's going to influence those kids to maybe do similar things.
You miss a red light, or maybe you miss a stop sign or a corner or something. And when I come up onto the scene,
the trauma bay is controlled chaos. So when somebody ends up in the trauma bay, it's because they're very injured or they're very sick. And so there'll be a highly organized, functional team that's involved in taking care of that patient. So there'll be multiple nurses, multiple physicians, respiratory therapists, orthopedic technologists, people from the lab, drawing blood. And it can, at the end, I always say when you're done with a patient in the trauma bay, it looks like a war zone because there's chaos everywhere. But that patient is the entire focus of everyone on the team, and so that patient gets the absolute best care in the worst moments of their life. And the worst moments of their life are in that trauma bay when they're really sick and really injured. I think that the more we model appropriate behavior, such as you put your phone in your pocket when you're driving, if you even have a whiff of a substance, you don't get behind the wheel. You follow the posted speed limits, and it all sounds like so easy that, obviously that makes sense. And yet I can tell you, as the end of the line guy, not everybody follows that common sense. We see a lot of broken people, and, we use a lot of our own emotional, physical energy, a lot of, the healthcare resources and dollars to put people back together who didn't follow those simple basic precautions. And so, I remember when I was a kid, my dad never wore a seatbelt, right? That was the culture of the time. You didn't wear your seatbelt. But over time, culture can change, right? So, if the culture is that, people don't mind pulling their phone out and answering a text or an email while they're driving, well, that culture can change too. And I think we've seen it over time with things like driving under the influence. That's definitely changed. I think that's way more taboo than it used to be. And I think we just need to keep modeling that. We need to keep chipping away at it. You know, I think it's a culture thing. Culture's difficult to define, but I think you can know when something's wrong with culture, and over time you can chip away at behaviors, and once you've changed behaviors, you can change culture.